The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the most overturned circuit court in the land, is wrong. Instead, we have apparently these so-called conservative constitutional justices saying, hey, the sanctuary status of California, and I would presume other states, is just fine.
Incredibly unfortunate that the Supreme Court decided not to take up the case involving the sanctuary state law. You know, the name sanctuary state is a misnomer to begin with. I call it, and I've been calling it for years, the Illegal Immigrant Felon Protection Act, because all the so-called sanctuary state law does is protect not only those people who came here illegally, but who have been committing felonies, oftentimes heinous felonies, since they got here. It does not protect the illegal people, the illegal immigrants that got here who haven't been breaking the law. So, I mean, since they got here. So no state, no society, no country should be protecting felons who are here illegally in the first place. And they should have, the Supreme Court should have picked up, should have granted cert, should have issued a ruling on it. They would have had, I believe, firm legal footing to find that the sanctuary state law is unconstitutional. And, now we're going to have to figure out ways to get rid of that law, other ways.
And so the radical left is trying to destroy legal immigration, destroy the United States Constitution, nullify the Constitution, destroy policing, allow open borders. And oh, by the way, in Portland, Oregon, now they're trying to destroy our history. Roll tape.
Yeah, that's going viral. Yeah.
See, that was a statue of Thomas Jefferson. And, of course, the way it's taught to young people these days is that Thomas Jefferson wasn't one of the great framers of the Constitution and founding fathers. All they're taught is that he was, quote, a slaveholder. But the problem with this is part of our history. And the left is trying to erase history, and these young people are buying into it. But what about your opponent, for example? When you talk about Adam Schiff, there's a building in Washington, D.C., the Russell Building. It was named after a guy named Richard Russell, who was a well-known segregationist. So I would say to your opponent, Adam Schiff, what about the Russell Building, where, his colleagues are in there every day, starting with Chuck Schumer? What about renaming that?
Listen, Schiff is a joke. He's a national disgrace. He's a liar. He's a leaker. As the Wall Street Journal said about 2 weeks ago, and this is a direct quote, as for Mr. Schiff, no one should ever believe another word he says. As far as that statue going down, these other statues, those people who are pulling down those statues, who are really following the ISIS playbook of trying to erase history, they're a bunch of savages. They should be locked up. And oh, by the way, they're all getting free COVID money these days, paid for by all of us and everybody watching this show. The minute they get arrested, they should have those COVID payments stopped immediately. But we have to get our handle back on what's going on in our society. I know that the vast majority, and it's the silent majority of America, the vast majority of Americans are not happy, can't stand what they're seeing. We want law and order. We want safety. We don't want this chaos in our streets. What's going on in Seattle is a total outrage. Portland, them pulling down that statue, outrage. We're going to be okay, but this is what happens when you send these kids through these 20 years of what I call indoctrination camps, which are our public schools, and in many instances, even our private schools. We're going to have to get our hands around the education system in this country again. When I get to Washington, I've got plans to do it. We've got to teach kids again the greatness of America.
You got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do at the national level and at the local level. Let's face it, education happens at the local level. And these silent Americans that you talk about have got to be silent no more. And I'm not just talking about going to the ballot box in November, but at the local level, and stop the stranglehold that these teachers' unions have on the curriculum in this country, because if we release this stranglehold, then hopefully we wouldn't see scenes like we just saw in Portland, the toppling of a part of our history. Eric, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.